Have you ever had a time when you got excited and you're really going to start something and you made a goal and you decided this time I'm finally going to go for it and you had that feeling, but now it's just another morning and you're tired and that excitement that you had at the beginning feels like it's just faded away and now you're tempted to just give it up altogether. This is the part of the goal that you and I need to talk about. Not at the beginning when it's easy to make big plans. We're not talking about the end when you can see the finish line, but it's this middle part when the thought of, maybe I should just quit starts to feel more comfortable than pushing forward. This is exactly where I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you the tools to break through this part so you don't just start out hot, but you actually finish what you originally set out to do. I built a process for winning in my own life, one that actually works. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you so you can start seeing real results, even if you have a habit of dropping your goals in the past. But there's a major mistake that's stopping most people from ever even getting close to reaching their goals. And if you don't fix this one thing, there's no strategy that's going to work for you. I'm going to give you those practical steps in just a second, but first we got to talk about something bigger. We got to talk about that mental shift that actually makes real change happen, because if your mindset isn't dialed in, even the best strategies won't stick. So let's break it down, because I don't want you to quit when that excitement wears off. Most of us don't expect the middle part to be this tough, and we hit that point where the work feels just like a grind, and just showing up is not exciting anymore, and it's just gotten exhausting. And that's where most people quit. Everyone wants to change, but hardly anyone's ready to face the hard parts that come with it. We want the six-pack abs, we want the Pop-Tarts, and we want the Papa John's pizza. We want the successful business without the failed attempts. And we just want all the mastery without having to go through the awkward beginner phase. And what separates those who achieve their goals isn't talent or luck, it's the relationship with discomfort that they've developed. They've learned that progress doesn't come from waiting for inspiration, but from just showing up, whether they didn't even want to or not. They chose long-term rewards over the short-term comfort. But let's be real, should we really expect big changes to be easy? There's going to be times where it feels like you're never going to get there and it's just too far away. And it's frustrating, especially after you've already put in the toil, the sweat, the hunger pains, and it still feels like you're miles from where you want to be. This is exactly when most people fold, right when they've actually built momentum but can't see it yet. One of the hardest parts you're going to go through is fighting that lazy person inside of you that just wants to convince you to skip today, or to take a break, or to back off a little bit. It's that voice that tells you your results are pretty good so far and that you deserve a break. This is where the real progress can be made, because your growth doesn't happen when things are easy or predictable. The real growth happens when you're faced with the choice to either keep going or stop. When you choose to push through even when you don't feel like it, this is what builds the mental strength and the habits that lead to long-term success. And it's not just for this goal, but it's for your future goals too. Every time you choose to keep going, even if it's just a small step forward, you're building that discipline and mental muscle that's going to make you stronger in other areas of your life too. It's these results that are worth more than anything else. When you're in that moment of doubt, when you're really starting to calculate if the cost of your goal is really even worth the reward that's coming, that's when you're pushing right up next to your turning point. This is where the real progress can be made, because your growth doesn't happen when things are easy or predictable. The real growth happens when you're faced with the choice to either keep going or stop. And not just in this goal, but your future goals too. Every time you choose to keep going, even if it's just a small step forward, you're building that discipline and that mental muscle that's going to make you stronger in all other areas of your life. Think about it. Anyone can show up when they feel motivated, and anyone can push forward when they're seeing the results. But the real test is when you aren't seeing any results and there aren't any payoffs yet. Our society celebrates the highlights, those breakthrough moments, the visible victories, but the real story is the silent moments of decisions when no one's watching. It's moments like these that don't get celebrated on social media. These are the moments that define us, because they force us to choose who we want to become, and that means giving up our current comfort. So we set a goal, and that initial fire doesn't last, because it never does. What happens next is where your character really takes shape. Think about this. Every single time you keep going when everything inside of you wants to stop, you're not just inching closer to your goal, you're literally becoming a new person. You're showing yourself that quitting isn't who you are anymore. And this is how real self-trust is built. This is how everything in your life can start changing. Every promise you keep to yourself, especially when the motivation has left the building, this is rewriting your future. Those days when you absolutely don't want to show up and put in the work, they're not roadblocks to your progress, they are your progress. What you might not realize is that these decisions compound over time, not just in your physical results, but in who you become. Each time you choose discomfort over comfort, you strengthen something deep inside of you. Some days that conversation's easy and the path is clear and the motivation is flowing and following through just feels good. But other days, it's a negotiation. Your willpower and your brain start battling each other, and it becomes a struggle between your present self and the future self. And the most important thing to understand is the discomfort you feel isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're facing right up exactly against what you need to be facing. Because listen, think about what you're really building here. Yes, you're working towards specific goals, But the most important thing is that you're building the ability to keep promises to yourself and to follow through when it gets tough. This is where transformation happens. It's in those quiet moments when you choose your future self over your present comfort. And if you get this right, your future self is going to thank you for it. If you're not sure how to reach your goals, look at this video I made where it shows you how to get from point A to point B. You don't want to miss this one. Check it out. And leave me a comment below and make sure you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss what I have coming next.